You're watching Tristar Diggin. My name is Sam, and today I am at a property that is very familiar to you if you have been with the channel any time at all. Earlier this year, I started a project here and called it the Swamp Road Project. And that's exactly what it was. It was a mess. Built this driveway in from the county road all the way up through here to a really nice house that's been built up there now. This property's actually changed a lot since I've been here as far as the house construction and things going on. Also, we did a borrow pit here to build the house pad, to build the pad for the shop here behind me, and a lot of the driveway work down at the county road, building that up where that swamp road was. So we turned the borrow pit into a pond. This is the pond as it is now. They've added some dye to it, and that is looking really good. It is really close to full pool. Full pool should be about another 12, 16 inches high. And the last video, I think, that I showed on this property was putting in this spillway. And this spillway, those rocks go down probably 6 or so inches. Anyway, so I think full pool, looking at it now, is about right in there. So the spillway's working good. There's no issues with that at all. And I'm telling you right now, the pond is looking nice. So that's the pond area where I was just at. And now then we're at the meter base, not meter base, but the transformer base. Where the power stops. So that is our job today, is to hook in right here and run the line up this hill to the back side of the house and get it plugged in. Also, the water line that's laying here, we'll extend that up there and put it into the front side of the house. One of the first things we have to do is do a little bit of maintenance here. At the last job video that I did with the trencher, we had a problem. Got back to the house with it, realized that I had a tooth broken and it needs a bolt put in there. I first climbed in my bolt box there in the truck and found one. The only problem with that is that it doesn't go all the way through to the other side. It's a little bit short. That's not gonna work. Then I started looking for a longer bolt and couldn't find that. So what I noticed on the chain, a lot of these teeth are just have a bolt coming through right here. They don't go all the way through. I found a little bit shorter bolt. We're gonna put that in there just like that and get that thing bolted down. There we go. I had to go trade a standard socket for a metric socket. Why do we even have to have metric sockets? Why can't everything just be a standard? 11/16, 5/8, 9/16, 3/8. What? I don't know. I just don't know that. There we go. Let's put a little tight on that. A little bit more. That'll be all good. Come off there. Next thing I want to do before I get started is clean out the air filter on that skid steer and blow out the dust. It was, the last job I was on was that pond job, and it was extremely dusty, especially using that power rake. So let's get that cleaned up and then we'll get started. Which way you try to blow out an air filter, it's always going to come back on you no matter what. So let's get this thing blown out. Well, actually the wind's blowing away from me. That's pretty good. There's a little dust in the eye. If I'm going to have it in my eyes, you're going to have it in yours. That ought to be good. The thing to mention is there's also an inner filter, and this is the outer filter. They don't recommend, you're not supposed to blow out that inner filter. Just leave it alone. You put that right back in there like that. Put the cap back on it. We'll get it fastened down. And then we'll be ready to get to work. Now I need to get some of these weeds knocked down so I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh boy, the pollen in there is rough. Whew. Anyway, let's get some of this stuff raked out of the way, and we'll have to do a little bit of hand digging here at the transformer box so that I can get that 90 elbow turned up inside that box. That should be pretty good for now. That way I can see. We'll make a pass or two up through here. This has been mowed fairly recently, so it's not too bad. We'll just kind of clean it up a little bit. and I can finally get started digging. I got the machine greased and got the trencher greased. It is ready to go. Now that what I want to do is just dig enough down in here. I don't want to hit that box because there's a lip on that box I've got to get under and get that 90-degree elbow turned up inside that box. And I did it. I hit it. Golly. Fortunately, I didn't bust it. Let's get out and talk about that for a second. What happened was there's a lip, as I mentioned, on this box. It actually sticks out farther than I thought. I shouldn't have kept going. But anyway, when that chain hit that tooth right there, it just spun up and climbed up this box. It damaged it, but it didn't poke a hole in it. That is a good thing, because that would be something to have to fix. Crisis averted right there. Man, I got to be careful. I should have just stopped and hand dug that area and not done that. But anyway, let's keep digging. What I'm going to do is trench as far as I can with this trencher, the 4-inch trencher, all the way up past where the excavator's setting, where that curve's got to start, and then I'll have to dig that curve with the Mini X because it's too steep to try to dig it, too steep of a turn to try to dig it with a trencher. And then about once I get up to the house, I can break off from there in the ditch I'm in and go over to the house. Now, something that's important is this secondary line from the transformer box to the house. I think the actual requirement for that is 24 inches deep plus 4-inch pipe, so 28 inches deep. But when you put water line in that same ditch, here in this area, you gotta have 2 feet of separation. So the ditch is gonna have to be 36 inches plus 4-inch pipe, 40 inches deep, and then I can put the pipe in, get it inspected, backfill it, and then I can put the water line on top of it with 2 feet of separation. Hopefully that's the last problem we're gonna have today. So a little piece of advice, don't do what I do. Just be a little bit more careful than I am. I'm thinking though that the ditch is curving on me. The trencher is kind of pulling and going around at a curve. I don't like that. I don't want that to do it that way. I think what's happened is the last ditch that I dug, the trencher has eased its way over, and this has a hydraulic slide on it. So I've moved this lever over, and what I'm going to do is just pull this, activate the hydraulics and slide this auger over, and hopefully that'll take care of that curve it's putting in it. That should take care of it. Now that gun down in there is where I started at the transformer box. Now then I've come all the way up through here, and it's still trying to pull me to the right or to the left as I'm going up through there. But nothing I could do about it. I switched that thing over, and that didn't help a whole lot. Let's look now at what we've got to do up here at the top. It's time to switch machines over to the excavator. because I've got to start making that turn. And I think what I will do is I'll start up here at the house. We'll take a look at that, work our way around the house. Tripped over every weed coming up through there, I reckon. And started right there and make this curve, come down through here, and then tie it into our existing ditch. Gonna be a little bit of a struggle to get that much of a turn in it, that is for sure. But we will start right here where this sleeve is. And this is, if you're not familiar with this is a slide sleeve. Ugh. It's supposed to slide, it will have to pull on it, but that gives some expansion and contraction right there when you connect it into the pipe in the ground, and their code requires that. So we'll come out through here and dig our trench, see if we can get it in. Getting ready to start digging this and realize I'm gonna have to move this dirt pile. I've got the skid steer bucket put on. I'm gonna knock this out of the way right quick, and I've got to go out of here at a weird angle. I don't know how to show it, but from right here where my hand is, I got to come out before I can start curving, because this concrete footer right here is deep, and it comes, it had an overspill come out all the way over into here, which the contractor come the other day, and you can see all that he chiseled out there. He chiseled a big old chunk of concrete out there to where we can even get started. So let's get this dirt pile moved, and then we'll start digging. I don't really have to move it far. I actually don't have to move it at all. I just need to knock down the top of it so that I can go over over it with the machine and have room to work right there. Right now, that concrete chunk bin out there is really in the way, but it's what we got to deal with. I don't have an air chisel or anything to break it out, and they worked on it the other day and got most of it out. At lunchtime time for a little update, and now then I have this curve worked in pretty good to where I think it's going to work. Tried to stay within the perimeter of this pad and this big dirt bank over here. Trying not to have to get outside of that. But that curve's looking good. I'm getting to the part where I need to straighten up and connect it into the existing ditch, which is right up there by the skid steer. In order to do that though, I've got to move another pile of dirt, or at least cut myself a path through it, which is right here. I need the excavator over a little bit farther, probably take about 4 or 5 feet of this cut bank out right here, or cut this bank out to where I can fit in there pretty good. But you can see now that curve is looking pretty good. Hopefully we can wrestle that pipe in there. Before I dig the rest of that ditch out, I'm gonna go ahead and glue together some of this pipe and let it lay out here and start curing, so the glue cures, because when we start trying to bend it around, and Kevin's going to help me bend it around and try to put it in the ditch, we don't want this glue to break loose and cause it to fly apart, because it's going to have a pretty serious bend on it. Let's get a few of these glued together, and then we'll finish digging out that ditch. And unfortunately, these have set out in the weather, and they are full of dirt. Well, not full of dirt, but they're pretty dirty in here, so they're gonna have to glue nicely. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get about 6 more put together. Let this be warming up in the sun. That sun will help make it a little more bendable as well. And then I'm gonna start digging out that ditch. I got 90 feet glued together, and that should be enough to get us through this curve. And what I've been using to help me dig this curve is a feature on this excavator, and most, I assume all mini excavators have this option. It's called swing boom. So not only do I have up and down motion and out and in, and obviously bucket curl, but I also can pivot the boom on the cab here. So it's got a pretty good range of motion side to side like that. So how that's helping me is I can position the cab like this and put my bucket down, and as I'm digging I can straighten up the boom while I'm digging. You don't want to put a whole lot of force on it like that, because you could put the boom and the stick in a bind. You definitely don't want to do that, but you can just make slight movements with it. But that's been working really good to get a good contour curve on this ditch. I'm going to connect these two, and then we're going to try to get that pipe put in there. I honestly don't believe it's going to be as hard as I thought, because that pipe is pretty warm. It's been in the sun for a while, and it's going to be pretty flexible, I hope. Now then, I've got the ditch tied in with the other one right there. So now then, I've hired Kevin over here for 50 cents an hour. Kevin's gonna help me put this pipe in the ditch. Let's see how this goes. Ugh. You getting close? All right, we got it in the ditch now. Oh, that went in there a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Now then, what we got to do is put a piece of Schedule 80, which is thicker pipe, from there up to here, and then Kevin's got a strap. We'll strap it to the wall. How much you need?
32.
Okay. 32-inch piece. I think we got some shorties in here somewhere. I think that's probably the shortest one right there. But you can see the thickness difference between that one and say that one right there. Your hands. Get glued right then. Now then, we got that glued on there straight up down. He's gonna put a strap on it, and it'll hold it to the wall. I can't wait for you to drop it.
Yeah.
And then find it down there in that mud.
Yep. That's how my luck usually goes.
I was thinking there a few minutes ago why this concrete's so thick right there. That was the drain for the footer.
Yep.
Because I had that dug out.
Yep.
All right, we got the hard part done. That is on there and attached to the wall. Now then, I'll get that pipe in the rest of the ditch and carry it down to the transformer. Let me get a short piece of pipe across my ditch. Perfect. Hey, just right. All right, we have that now in the ditch all the way around the curve. What I'm gonna start doing now is gluing pipe down to the transformer box. Now then, what I'll have to do is dig out underneath the transformer box, and then that 90, wherever it's at, that sweep will turn up and go up under there. Too bad we can't open that box.
I know. I guess when we put it in, we probably should have just stubbed one out here to start with.
Yeah, been a good idea. I don't know what happened there.
I didn't see that happen. Alligator come out of the pond.
Yeah, I hit that lip and it went boop, 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 right up the side. Like, oh no, too close, too close. Got the pipe in the ditch now. What we're doing is tying a bag to that string, Put that string in there, and then we'll put the blower to it, and it's gonna blow that string and that bag all the way up to the other side. Kevin's gonna go watch. If you saw my last video on the conduit I put in, I was blowing the string through there and I wasn't watching the other end of the pipe, and it come flowing out there like a fountain. And now I don't know how much string I blew out that other side before I saw it, but Kevin's gonna go watch this time. Hold on. Well, that was pretty much what you call a genuine mess. I tell you what happened. I didn't get to record it because Kevin was helping me. He was kind of in a rush and he was getting ready to leave, and I had to stay over just a little bit because I messed up a couple times. Anyway, so we was trying to push the string through the pipe and got it all the way up to the house, and where it makes that turn and goes up into that box, it just wouldn't do it. And Kevin had a little bit bigger blower. It wouldn't do it either. So I ended up having to pull that string all the way out. I went up to the house and put the bag and the string up there and blew it down and blew it downhill, and it shot right out the end of the pipe just like it's supposed to. However, we were down here, we were getting ready to put that string through the 90 that goes in this box I'm sitting on, and I started pulling the slack out of the rope. Forgot that I didn't tie it off at the meter box. Pulled the string back into the pipe. So anyway, we ran it again. And then we got the string through there the third time, and then everything got taken care of at that point. But wow, what a mess. But that's just how things go. Anyway, I got it backfilled a little bit, expecting a little bit of rain, so I went up through there in a few little places. I actually had a cave in right there that I have to get that out so I can get the water line in it. But I got several places up through there backfilled. That is so if it rains, it doesn't float that pipe up, because that pipe's glued and sealed for the most part, and so it's like a balloon. Get water in that ditch and it'll float out. I've been there, done that, and that's not fun. But anyway, I'm going to come back and do the water line later. Tomorrow is a full day of moving equipment. I'm going to move the dozer, the 313, the excavator, the packer. I'm going to start a basement dig either tomorrow or Wednesday. But anyway, I got to get back down here once this is inspected, and we'll get that water line put in. So see you then. And just like that, it is the next day. We had inspection this morning, and Kevin was here, and we failed inspection on one part. And that part was how much of that elbow that we had stuck up inside the box. Let me step over here to the side. We couldn't see in there, and we just felt like we got the pipe in there far enough, but we didn't. It actually had to come over to about right here. That is good. Now we've got that dug out and replaced and got that fixed up. Now then what I'm doing is going up through there and bedding in this ditch. And what I mean by that, I guess you can see, is I'm going to straddle the ditch with the excavator and to ease my way back. And I'm just going to rake dirt in from the side to where I can get 2 feet of separation between the conduit and the water line that I'm going to put up through there. Now then I'll just ease back up through here, straddling the ditch like I mentioned, and get that dirt covering up enough to where we have that separation. I guess I've already said that. I got a part right here that I got too much dirt in there, so I'm going to dig down in my trench and get that, well, you know what? I did that a while ago, and I got too much dirt in there, so I'm just going to rake that down with my foot. I'm not going to be able to do that with my foot. I guess I'm going to have to dig it out. Can't get my foot down in there like I thought I could. Oh well, let's dig it out. That happened yesterday when I was backfilling, just in case it rained, and I got too much in that part right there. Bad part about fixing areas like that is when you dig down, you come back up, you peel off half of the bank with it, and then it falls in there and then it's lodged. So kind of a pain, if you know what I'm saying. I think this is the only place I had that to happen. See that fall in there right there? Oh my gosh. That's what I get for backfilling in a hurry yesterday and not paying attention. Now then, I think I can fix the rest of it with my foot, and we will carry on. And that is the plan. I'm gonna keep working up through there and get that all the way done to where I get to the part where I'm gonna cut over to the house. So I'll bring you back then. Now then, I am ready to start digging this ditch into the other one and to get this water line set in here. I only have to be about 18, 20 inches deep here where we are. I know a lot of people in the north kind of freak out when I'd put in a water line 18 inches, 20 inches deep, and because they're thinking they've got to get below the frost line. Our frost line here is realistically about 6-8 inches deep. So we don't have to be too deep with our water lines here. That ought to be good. We'll head down through here now. A lot easier to dig 18, 20 inches deep than it is 40. That's for sure. And there we go. We got that ditch dug in, and I got to go down here where it connects and clean that out to where that pipe will come around the curve there. And then I'll be ready to start laying pipe in here and getting this all connected. So let's get this taken care of. Now then, I'm down to my favorite part, rolling out this water line. I ought to hire me somebody to roll this water line out. This is not even close to fun. I think if I can cram this down in there, maybe that'll hold it, and I can get it rolled out. I hope. Should have left it out in the sunshine. It would have been a lot better. Here we go. Uh-oh, it didn't hold it. Figure something else out. All right, I'm gonna fight this thing on the way down through here and get these hooked up and we'll throw it in the ditch. Welcome to the jungle. Oh my goodness, this has grown up. Oh, this is bad grown up. I hope it's not water in here. I gotta find that water meter, and I don't remember exactly where it was. Seems like it's up here a little bit farther. Wow. There's a fire hydrant. Oh, stepped in water all in there. All right, there's the fire hydrant. Seems like it was over here to this side a little ways. Anyway, let me take a few minutes here and find that water meter, and then we'll get that water shut off and we'll be able to make the connection. I found it. Now I just gotta get to it. In there somewhere. I'm standing almost on top of it. There it is. There it is. Along with probably a couple dozen snakes. I got the top of it off, and now then the way you turn this off, there's a little knob right there. You put this on it and you turn it and off it goes. I'm just gonna leave this stick here. Find my way back over there to the skid steer and go make our connections. Let's grab the existing line right here. Ooh, and pull that up here as far as it'll go, and then we'll see where we need to connect it at. There it is. There's the end of it. All right, there's where we need to connect it at. Right there. I gotta do a little bit of work down here at the box to get it. Let me just walk down here and show you where it come out under the box. Got to dig out a little ditch and get it back over here in the main ditch. I'll get that taken care of, and then we'll make some connections and put it in the ditch. I got that first connection made. Now I'm rolling this pipe off in the ditch, and that's going pretty good. Getting it unrolled there a few minutes ago was really helpful in getting it to relax and not be coiled up. Got all that pipe in the ditch now, and what I like to do is go down through here, because there's going to be spots where there's high points in the line, but just because of the kinks. And I go down through here with a shovel and just put a little bit of dirt on those. In theory, when you push dirt in on it, you would think that it would push that pipe down. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it'll just go underneath it and even pick it up even more. So it don't take just a minute to go down through there and knock some dirt on those high places. Now I get that red tape in there, and I'll have to go down through there with a stick and poke that down in the ditch all the way up through there. But that's coming along. Once I get that in, I can start backfilling it and pressure test my connections on the water line. I got the trench backfilled now all the way down through there, and I left this water faucet on right here before I turn the valve back on down there to let the air out and to kind of relieve the pressure as the water started filling back up that line. Now then, that is shut off. No leak at the spigot there. No leak at that shark bite fitting there. Now let's walk down here and check. There are two connections in the ditch. If we don't have water spewing out of that, I've got two little places to cover back up. Actually, I probably leave those somewhat uncovered just in case they did start leaking. Here's the first one, and it is right in there. There's no wet spot or water or anything coming out of there. That's good. And then our next one is way down here in this section right here where the blower is. That is good. No water coming out of that. That is fantastic. That job is done. I hope y'all enjoyed this video and kind of walk through how to put in an electric line or water line, or how I do it anyway. There's a lot of different ways. Everybody has different ideas and thoughts on how to do it. But that's it for me on this one. I actually, let me walk over here to the pond. I noticed that they have a pump in the pond, aerator I guess it's called. We'll take a look at that right quick, and that's how we'll close this video out. I saw this box here the other day when I was working. I figured that's what it was. But yeah, you can see out there in the center of the pond now. Pretty cool. Right in the middle, got that aerator flowing. That is looking good. God bless, and see you on the next one. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video there. And it's been a few weeks since I did that job, and my wife and I have traveled to Pensacola, Florida, the beach, Pensacola Beach, and we spent a few days here. And I was thinking about the message and what I would say. And because we're here at the beach, I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about God's power and His ability to create things and to bring us through challenges. And in that video, there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things that just went wrong, and it just, well, you just had to kind of work through those things. In the same way in our lives as Christians and as people, we find challenges and things in our life that are very frustrating. But we need to understand and know that we serve an awesome and mighty and powerful God that has the ability to see us through those challenges, just as He created this sea and this ocean and this beach that I'm sitting on here. And I want to read a passage of scripture in Genesis chapter 1, starting about verse 9. It says this: "Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters He called seas. And God saw that it was good." So the passage of scripture here tells us that this water here behind me and this beach that I'm sitting on, God created that. It's His power that brought this creative opportunity to the world and gave us the dry land as earth. And He has that same ability in your life and in mine to bring about the difference in our challenges and that we face in our life. So whatever you're going through in this life and in this world, know that God knows exactly where you are, and He has the ability to change those things according to His will. I hope that you're a believer in Jesus Christ and He's your Lord and Savior. If you haven't, it's the most important decision you ever make in your life, is to place your faith and trust in Him. So I appreciate you watching, and God bless.